Bonjour, Tabiki Gisa Skijikwe, Nindishnakas, Nagachiwanang, and Dunjiba, Migizi da Autumn. My name is Taysha Martineau. I'm 28 years old. I come from the Fond du Lac Reservation, and I stand in opposition of the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline because at home I have 3 beautiful Indigenous daughters and 1 strong son. When corporations like Enbridge build pipelines such as Line 3, Line 4, Line 5, or even energy transfer partners with the Dakota Access Pipeline, the increase of violence against Indigenous women in the communities along these routes increased by 22%. Before that 22% increase, my young daughters already faced the statistics of being 1 in 3. Before the age of 15, 1 in 3 Indigenous women are raped, go missing, or end up murdered by an intimate partner, family member, acquaintance, or friend. You know, when you get these companies who come in with thousands of out-of-state workers in these small communities, oftentimes there are work hiatuses where they're sitting in these hotels with a lot of time and money in their pockets. Some of them are going to go try to find a girl or a boy. It's been statistically proven that these corporations and their workers increase both drug and sex trafficking. You know, these men, they're the risk to my community. They're the, the shadow in the dark. They're the boogeyman beneath the bed. You know, when these white trucks trespass ancestral homelands of the Anishinaabe, we have to remain vigilant and watch because oftentimes their eyes are trespassing the bodies of our children. So we're here today exercising our treaty rights, which is per Article 6 of the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. The police here stood down, recognizing that our treaty rights supersede this corporation. And so this camp has gone up where people are swimming in the river, they're hunting, they're fishing, they're gathering, they're doing what's natural for them, and to live in communities such as this, decolonizing and being together with one another in community. It's important that we do those things to recognize, how far we've come as human beings, because as human beings, we're all water. Each and every single one of us is a water carrier. We are 70% water. We carry that water within us, the water that connects us, the water that's around us. Every single one of us is a water protector, and it's our duty to uphold these treaties and be good stewards of this land and ensure that in 100 years, when our grandchildren speak about how we stopped Line 3, they'll be able to stand right here and rice and fish this river. When Enbridge started digging in December, the first place they desecrated was a spot that was very sacred to me that we were calling Grandma's Table. At this spot, I learned how to speak my name so that the ancestors could know me. I learned how to build a fire there where Jim Northrup taught me so that when I travel home, I can do so safely. My children danced around that fire with braids in their hair and ribbon skirts, learning the language that they took from my grandmother. And when Enbridge started digging, that was the first spot they desecrated. And so I was angry. I felt that this corporation had taken something from me. And it's been, everyone I've met on this journey, every single person that I've met, especially, the other Indigenous women in leadership and all of the people who have come, to our call for aid, have taught me that as an Indigenous person, I can pray absolutely anywhere. I'm standing in the river where they intend to cross. I got here by coming off of an easement, and I did so in prayer the entire way here. I can pray anywhere, and they cannot take that from me. Law enforcement intends to protect capital, not the people, and unfortunately, many of these officers who have taken oaths to protect the people will protect profits and pipelines more so than human life. I think we've seen something absolutely beautiful with the local sheriff and their interaction with Don Goodwin, where they did stand down and they did recognize Article 6 of the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. And I think that at the end of the day, cops are not your friends. We're not anti-worker, but we need people to recognize that the jobs that they're doing is harming Indigenous people. It's been harming Indigenous people for generations. So we need to be moving away from our fossil fuel addiction. We need to be moving towards a just transition. We need to understand that we are in the time of the 7th fire. And in order for us to move forward into the 8th fire, a world of peace and prosperity, we need to go back. We need to move away from all of the comforts and the luxuries that we have today and be willing to be uncomfortable so that one day our children and their children after them can continue to live this life in a good way, can continue to gather wild rice, gather berries, hunt the deer in this area, fish these rivers. If we don't do that, none of us will be here long. It's not an Indigenous fight. We are literally in the fight for humanity. Line 3 is the dying gasps of the oil industry, and they know it, and that's why they're so desperate. They are screaming, they are terrified, and all of that noise means nothing in the face of the voice of our ancestors calling out for us to wake up and remember. If you weren't at Standing Rock and that's a regret in your heart, you should get here. You know, you as an individual are everything good that your ancestors brought to this place. And we need you here on the front line to stand with us today for a future for your grandchildren too.